But now I want you to take the question one step further. 100 people in your life are serving. And they're simply asked the question, name a person, living or dead, who's left the world a better place. Would your name ever come to the forefront of their mind? Simply left the world a better place. 10 years ago, I got to do 7 speeches in one day in Boerne, Texas, at an elementary school. And I spoke 7 different times, kindergartners through 6th graders. I do 3 today, and that's enough. 7 was intense. And I did them grade by grade, and I broke them up into groups at first by the month of their birth. And so I would say, how many of you were born in January, February, and March? And for those of y'all that are familiar with elementary school kids, you'd have thought they won $1 million. How many of you were born January, February, and March? And oh my gosh, you thought they won the lottery, and I would move them to a group. So I divided them by the months of their birth, and then in their groups, they had to answer 2 questions. What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you think were the most popular responses? Policeman, firefighter, astronaut, lawyer, veterinarian, doctor, famous athlete, or famous star.
Fastest bike franchise.
Those were the most popular answers that came. Then I had to answer a question as a group with a one-word response. Who do you want to be when you grow up? And if there's a one-word response for which you want to be remembered, what would that be? Before I give you their answers, I'd like to write for you on your blue card to write down the one word for which you most want to be remembered. Okay, we have all the cards. Here we go from elementary school kids in Boerne, Texas, which is 30 miles I-10 west from here. Kindergartners, generous, inspiring, loving, and helpful. First graders, compassionate, responsible, happy, encouraging, kind. Second graders, jubilant. I think it had to have been the word of the day the day before. Generous, caring, honest, helpful, responsible. Third graders, giving, responsible, caring, respectful, noble. Fourth graders, athletic, caring, trustworthy, awesome, intelligent. Fifth graders, a boy runs up to me and he goes, "We got it!" And I said, "What?" He said, "Sexy." I said, completely inappropriate for this exercise. They changed it to attractive. So 5th graders, attractive, successful, Christian, which surprised me because it was a public school, amazing and heroic. And 6th graders, inspirational, successful, tender-hearted, faithful, and honest. And as I made that list that night, because the principal asked me to compile it, a second observation occurred. The younger they were, the more other-centered the words were, and the older they became, the more self-centered the words became. Nobody kindergarten through 3rd grade said anything like athletic, awesome, attractive, sexy, successful, amazing. And I thought, I wonder what happens as you grow older. At what point you'd rather be remembered or live a life that's more about others and it becomes more about you. This is 10 years ago, right before the era of major social media, right on the cusp of when kids in elementary school and middle school were getting smartphones and getting social media. So I decided to continue this exercise, and a week later I was talking to a group of gifted and talented students at a high school, and I asked them to do the same exercise, and here's what they came up with. One word for which you want to be remembered: badass. I thought it was 2 words, but I guess I was mistaken. Best, sexy, intelligent, and caring. And I said to them, can you imagine if I were speaking at your funeral? And I got up and I said, we're so honored today, to be here to recognize and honor the life of Tommy. Tommy was so badass in everything he did. I just keep using the word, but in my mind, I know that people in the audience are thinking, why does he keep saying that? Why is this the man they asked to speak? And I'm thinking, y'all, I know what you're thinking, but I knew Tommy really well. And if there's one word for which he wanted to be remembered, it was badass. Or we're here today to honor Jennifer. Jennifer was so sexy. And everything she did, Jennifer, the way she talked, the way she walked, Jennifer wasn't old enough to have a personalized license plate, but if she did, that's what it would have been. And again, people in the audience at the funeral would be thinking, why is he the speaker? So I did it another time. Been unbelievably blessed to speak at the United States Air Force Academy, at the Naval Academy, 3 times at West Point. And on my last trip to West Point, I got to speak to West Point Elementary School students. That is on the campus of West Point. So you're surrounded by 4,000 outstanding young men and women who are at the United States Military Academy. And in their 3rd grade class, I did the exact same exercise. It's one of the largest classrooms I'd ever been in. They were so spread out, they could not hear what other groups were saying. And that's important because there's a repeat word. But here's what the 3rd graders at West Point Elementary School came up with several years ago. Leader. Helpful. Creative. Peacemaker. Amazing. And peacemaker. And I thought, there is hope. But look who is modeling those things to them. And we don't have a lot of kids in our country today who get to grow up on the campus of a military academy who see those sorts of things.